Welcome to the Women Leaders Association Daily Member Podcast, where we believe we go further, faster, and have more fun when we go together. I'm your host, Julianne Kirkland. And in each Daily Member Podcast, we will pick out a great speaker from one of our meetings that we thought you would enjoy. You can access hundreds of recent speakers, book summaries, great articles, and more at no additional charge through your membership portal. If you would like to get involved in a Women Leaders Association mastermind group or find a networking group near you, or if you just need access to the membership portal, simply go to womenleaderspodcast.com to be connected. Now let's tune in for this incredible message.
Kelly is the head of celebrity relations for the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, where she works closely with a lot of A-list celebrities to raise funds and awareness for 10 million sick children that are in 170 hospitals around this North America. Kelly hosts a beautiful podcast called Untold Miracles and interviews celebrities to discuss the miracles in their personal and professional life. She is the author of the book, Miracles of Maverick. And I'm assuming Maverick is a child that, went through the Miracle Network. An inspiring true story of courage, compassion, and connection. All proceeds from her book benefit the Children's Miracle Network to help more kids just like Maverick. Kelly's own life is a miracle, as she has gone through a 20-year journey with body dysmorphic disorder. And maybe she'll tell us a little bit more about it. Despite her own challenges, she still showed up in big ways to help create miracles for sick kids. Well, we'd like to welcome to the stage, please, Kelly Davis.
Oh, yay, there it is. I was a little nervous of how I was going to do that. I was going to figure it out, but I wasn't quite sure how. Yes, I love being vulnerable. And I am just so thankful and grateful to be in a room today full of so many strong, amazing, beautiful, authentic, talented, resilient women. And my heart is really full because I do feel like it's a big honor to be here today. And I am going to be talking about the art of making an ask. And 26 years ago, I started my day job working at Children's Miracle Network hospitals, where we treat 10 million kids each year at 170 children's hospitals across the country. And in my day job, I have made thousands of asks to celebrities to get them to donate their time and their appearance fee to support sick and injured kids. And I have learned the wrong way to make an ask. And I have learned the right way to make an ask. And I have witnessed the miracles that can be on the other side of the ask when we are connected to our why and we are connected to a bigger purpose. And so I'm just really excited to share what I've learned with you today. So how many of you in this room, by a raise of hands, feel really empowered to ask for what you want in your personal life? Just want to gauge the temperature of the room. How many feel empowered in your personal life? Okay. How many feel empowered in your professional life to ask for what you want and need by raise of hands? Okay. Or how many of you feel like this? For me, in my professional life, it is so easy for me to ask Oprah to be on my podcast. But if I have to ask my boyfriend to pick up dinner at Zao, I can't do it. It's really hard because it's out of my control. I can pick up dinner. He doesn't need to pick up dinner, but I feel really empowered in my day job because asking for what we want puts us in the driver's seat for life. If we don't ask, who's going to have our own back? I believe in a very friendly universe. I believe that life loves me. Believe that life is my friend, and I believe the universe has my back every day, but I have to do the work too. I have to make the ask to be able to see those miracles on the other side. And so my intention today and my invitation to you is to shift your mindset. If you have a mindset and you have limited beliefs for what's possible in your life, I invite you to expand that and believe what's impossible might be possible for you. And I have to say, I have witnessed so many miracles of kids being told sight wasn't possible and they see. Doctors telling kids they won't walk and they walk. Doctors telling these kids that they're going to die and they live. They choose not to let the odds defy what they're going to do. They don't let science and society tell them what their life is going to be like. They believe in the miracle and they believe anything is possible in their life. So I was really fortunate at a young age to have an experience that made me realize I can dream so big and I can ask for anything I want in life. So back up to 5 years old. I'm 49 today, 5 years old. It's a long time ago. I fell in love with the Denver Broncos. My brother was given a Denver Broncos helmet. And so I'm like, I love this team. And I would journal about it when they lost because I was devastated. I would cry. I would not be happy until they won again. So fast forward, I'm in college. I have a little Honda Civic. I have 2 Denver Broncos bumper stickers on each side of my car. I applied to get an internship twice. I get rejected. And it's my senior year, and I'm going to be a sports information director. So I'm in Denver interviewing with different colleges to be an assistant sports information director. I'm in my hotel room, and on the coffee table, there is a Denver Broncos mouse pad. So I think, oh my gosh, like I should call the Denver Broncos. I'm in town. They've rejected me twice, but who cares? Like, I'm just going to reach out to them. So I get the yellow pages out because back in the day, it was the yellow pages. I get the number. I find the gentleman's name. He actually answers the phone and he says, what can I do for you? I say, I just want, 5 minutes of your time. He says, no. I said, I just need 5 minutes of your time. He says, yes. I get a taxi, go over to the facility in Inglewood, Colorado. I am freaking out. I mean, this is my dream. One of my best friends from college was actually from Denver, and in October 1993, I went to my first Broncos game. And I just wanted to work for the Denver Broncos. So I get to the facility. He comes down the stairs, and I'm kind of freaking out because I can't believe I'm even here having a conversation with him. And he takes me up to his office. He said, what can I do for you today? And I said, I want to know what I need to do to work for this football club. And he walked out of the room, and he came back in with a gentleman named Bill Harpole. And they talked to me for a minute, and I flew back to Utah. And a week later, I'm sitting out in Provo, Utah, in front of my apartment, and I get a phone call, and they offered me a job to go work for my dream job for the Denver Broncos. It was truly incredible to know that I can dream so big and I can ask for what I want and I can have that happen in my life. So what can be on the other side of making an ask? Your dreams can literally come true, but we have to be willing to make the ask. So today, I'm going to be talking about the 3 R's to making an ask. We're really going to talk a lot about resistance because resistance is typically what just stops us from achieving our dreams. We'll talk about the actual request, and then we'll talk about the receiving. So resistance, rejection, fear, doubt, worry. I loved what Mary talked about fear because everything we want in life is on the other side of fear. We have all of these excuses. For me, I have heard no most of my life. I'm 49. I've never been married, dating for 33 years. There's been a lot of rejection, a lot of no's. But what I found, especially in my day job, every no leads me to a yes. No just means next opportunity. I believe in divine timing. I believe in making no your vitamin. It's a delay. It's not a denial. And you have to know the game. It's a numbers game. The more people you ask, the odds are likely you're going to get a yes. And you have to know it's not personal. This is not about you. And you just, when you get that no, it's like, bless you, next. Or as Ariana Grande says, thank you, next. Like we just move on to the next. So what if these people gave up when they were rejected? Walt Disney was rejected over 300 times in trying to find financing for Walt Disney World. Wouldn't even exist today if he gave in to that rejection. Howard Schultz, Starbucks. How sad would we be if we couldn't get a Starbucks? Can you imagine the sadness that would exist in the world? But he leaned into the rejection when he got rejected 217 out of 242 times. Steven Spielberg, we'd have no movies today if he stopped when he was rejected from film school at USC 3 times. The Beatles, they were rejected 4 times at their record label. They actually, that one of their record labels, I think it was EMI, ended up signing them. But what if they stopped when they were rejected? And I had a really powerful experience in my career. Back in 2008, I was introduced to the band Lady Antebellum. It's now Lady A, but are you guys familiar with Lady Antebellum? So my agent, or their agent, was a good friend of mine. He's like, you've got to pay attention to this band because they're going to be big. So I'd go to their shows in Ogden, Utah, and I would just do what I needed to do to build the relationship. And year after year, after year, after year, after year, I would get a no from them. I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, I'm competing with millions of charities. I love Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. I happen to think we're the best charity on the planet, but there's some incredible charities out there. And they're also wanting Lady A now to do something for them. So finally, 6 years in, I get an email that says, we want to start a foundation, and it's going to be called Lady Aid, and we want Children's Miracle Network Hospitals to be a beneficiary of the foundation. And oh, by the way, we're going to come to your event at Disney World. There's one kid from every state that's treated at our children's hospital. They're going to invite them on stage, give them the experience of their lifetime. That little girl, Belle, knew one of their songs and just rocked it on stage with them. And it was the most magical thing, but it's because I did not let that no stop me. How many times in your life do you hear the word no and you give up? And you actually think, like, it's not going to happen. I do not like to take no for an answer. If you ask my parents, when I was a little girl, I was allergic to the word no. I hate hearing the word no to this day. My bestie, Melissa, will tell you, I hate it. I can accept it, but I hate it. I just know that I can figure out how to get around that no. And I got around that no, and this happened. And it was just such an empowering thing for me to know that anything is possible, especially when we just continue to ask. And also in my day job, we have this really cool campaign called Children's Hospitals Week, where we get celebrities to post on their social channels to bring awareness to what we do and to help raise funds. So for me, I have to ask about 400 celebrities to get, 20 to say yes. It's a numbers game. It's literally 20 asks to get one yes. Katy Perry, Ryan Seacrest, Chris Evans, Layla Ali, Kim Kardashian, all posted on their socials, but I can't tell you how many no's I had to get through to get to those yeses. But if you're willing to do the work, I promise you, and I love the girl in the back, what's your name? Yes, you. Amy knows this. She is feeling this. I think she's had to deal with a lot of no's for her to get to the other side and get to the yeses. But we just need to stick at it and just realize that that no can be our fuel to getting what we want. I love talking about fear. Because so much of my life, I am fearful. I just get up and do it anyway, but it's very scary. Fear is false evidence appearing real. We can face everything and run, or we can face everything and rise. And me and Melissa, several years ago, went to Tony Robbins. Was it Live Within? Unleash the Power Within. And we did the fire walking, and we sat in this arena for like 12 hours. And at the end of the night, 20,000 of us went outside to do the fire walking on coals. And I will tell you, sitting in that chair all day, I didn't think I was going to do that because that's scary. Who wants to do fire walking? I did not want to do fire walking. Melissa was over it by the end of the day. She's like, I'm done. I'm out. We are not doing this. But we did it through the fears, and he had to say kumas, 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 kumas as we were walking through, and literally we just did it. Like, we walked on the hot coals and we made it, and it wasn't hard, and it felt so empowering to be on the other side of our fear. I was so proud of myself, and I can lean into that moment when things feel scary and hard for me. Worry. How many of you in your life spend a lot of time worrying because we think we have control when we worry? Worry is a prayer for what we don't want. Worry is a prayer for chaos. Worry is negative goal setting. Worry is like a rocking chair. You can sit there all day. It's not going to get you anywhere. And I have a dear friend who, I'm going to tell you about him in a minute. I'm going to talk about excuses next. How many of you don't want to be a bother or a burden, and so that stops you from reaching out? How many of you have imposter syndrome? Who am I, to make that ask? We do want to be liked. We want to be loved. And then sometimes we have the excuse, I don't know how to do that. I can't ask. You ask someone, you partner with someone, you have a mentor that shows you how to do that. Or you partner with someone who's really good at making an ask. You don't have to be. Lean into somebody that you know is good at it. And then how many of us in the room are fortune tellers and mind readers? We literally think we know what the answer is going to be. So we just don't even make the ask. Well, I think there's a lot of excuses we can have. For me, I have a lot of reasons why I don't actually really want to be on stage today. I have body dysmorphic disorder, and it's really hard to get out of bed every day. It's really hard to be seen. It's really hard to show up, but I want to be heard. I don't want to be seen. But they go together, which is super annoying. Like, I wish there was a way I could get around that, but it's hard because I deal with the anxiety and the depression. And most days I don't want to get out of bed. And I'm not saying mental conditions are excuses. I'm just saying there are a lot of things. I mean, they're real. I'm saying they're very real, but I could have it as an excuse to not be here today. I really could. I could let it stop me from doing anything. But somehow I'm able to just lean into the fear of it all and just show up, even though it's really super uncomfortable. And so many of you guys have been nice to me today. Like, you've complimented my dress. You've made me feel just kind of cute. Thank you. You've made me feel cute when it's really hard for me to ever feel cute. So I appreciate that. But my dear friend Isaiah has a really good story and reason why he could have excuses to not show up for his life. Isaiah was born without an air passage in a jaw. He didn't have oxygen for 15 minutes, and doctors said he would be a vegetable. But Isaiah loves rap. He loves Drake, 21 Savage, and just all the rappers, and he wanted to be a rapper. So we paired him up with a rapper named Trap House, who became his physical voice. And Isaiah became the world's first mute rapper. You can go to Spotify, you can hear his music. It's called Oxygen to Fly. You can go to oxygen.fly or oxygentofly.org and watch the 6-minute documentary about his life. A couple of years ago, Isaiah gave a TED Talk in Colorado Springs. I paired him up with a friend of mine. We helped create the message, and he delivered this amazing message with no physical voice. Google Isaiah Costa and his TED Talk. How many of you in your life are fighting for your limitations? And you're like, oh, I have this story, I have this trauma, and like, there's a reason. I cannot ask for this. I can't dream this big because this happened and this happened and this happened. Quit fighting for your limitations. I want you to believe anything is possible. Isaiah pushed through all of his excuses, set them aside, and today he's just inspiring the world with his voice, even though he doesn't have one. All right, moving on to making the request. I love making requests. How many of you like making requests? Get excited about making a request? Nobody's? Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. Anyone else? You get excited about making requests? Everyone else is no. I think it's really important when we're making our requests that we have to know our why. We have to believe in our ask, and we have to lead with our heart. And we want to be really clear in what we're asking for, make it short and simple, and be really kind. I can't tell you how many emails I get from people, and it's like 3 paragraphs, and then there's an attachment. We don't need all that information. When you're making a request, just make it short and simple and sweet, because you don't have much time and you really have to get your message to them. So several years ago, I read an article that Chris Pratt had saved his costume from Guardians of the Galaxy, because if the movie did well, he wanted to go in and visit kids at a children's hospital. And so I decided, oh gosh, that's a really cool ask. I could reach out to Chris Pratt and first of all, I could meet Chris Pratt. How cool would that be? And then these kiddos who are going through so many hard times at the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles can get the opportunity to meet him. So I reached out to his publicist. I did not know her at the time. I think this is 2015. It was very short, simple, sweet. I was really talking about what's in it for Chris, because it's really important. It's not what's in it for me and Children's Miracle Network hospitals. It's what's in it for Chris, and why would he want to say yes? And I made the ask. And so we go to Children's Hospital Los Angeles, and Chris walks into the hospital and he says, Kelly, I need to get this on my calendar once a month, which is what Chris Pratt does. He is always visiting our children's hospitals on the down low, because he does not want anyone to know what he's doing. He's not doing it for the attention. And so the kids are in the child life room watching the movie on the big screen, and then he comes in and they are freaking out. Like, look at the smiles on their face. And then sweet Dylan loves the Legos, and so Chris Pratt was the voice in the Lego movie, and they quoted lines for like 20 minutes. Dylan passes over 20 kidney stones a day. He's in so much pain, and in that moment, Chris went in that room and was present with him, gave him the gift of his presence, and it was so incredible. That's what happens when we believe in our why and we think about what's in it for other people. Some of these celebrities, Adam Devine was hit by a cement truck when he was 11 years old, had 25 surgery at our children's hospital in Omaha. Doctors said he wouldn't walk. Zendaya is such an incredible human who gives back. Twitch and Allison, they love supporting our children's hospitals. But when I ask them to do things, it's not about CMN hospitals and this is what you can do and this and this and this. It's about them and what's in it for them. What's the impact that they can have by participating and saying yes? And then I think it's really important to be creative in how you make your asks. What are you going to do that's different from everybody else? For me, I decided I wanted to host a podcast because I wanted a platform that would connect me with celebrities that would help deepen the relationship so they would support our organization. So I figured out, okay, that's my ask. I'm going to go to my company. I know nothing about podcasting. I don't know why they would say yes to me. I don't do interviews. And I asked them and I helped them understand the impact and what was in it for them. And now I have a podcast. It's called Untold Miracles. I highly recommend you guys listen because there's some really powerful episodes. We talk about the miracles in their lives from Mark Cuban to Kristen Bell to Amy Poehler to, one of my favorites, Kendra Scott. She literally started $1 billion company out of her garage, but they're very inspiring. But I was creative in the ask. We need to be creative. We can't do things the way everyone else is doing them. And then for me, and I don't know why my orange line is going through my words. That's kind of bugging me right now, but it wasn't that way like when I sent it in. But anyway, so I am always looking for opportunities, which makes my bestie, Melissa, really uncomfortable, right, Melissa? Because if we're somewhere and I see a celebrity, I feel like they want to talk to me about Children's Miracle Network hospitals. She's like, oh gosh, don't do it. Don't do it. We were actually at a game in Arizona and there was some NBA player and I wanted him to do something. She's like, don't. So I go right up to him and I ask him and he did what I asked and it was really cool. That's what happens when we ask. People do what we actually want them to do. So I was like at dinner and Queen Latifah was there and I'm like, okay, I got to go talk to Queen Latifah. So after she goes outside, I go talk to her. Justin Tuck, ran into him at the Salt Lake airport, asked him if he wanted to get involved. And a month later, I have 20 NFL players visiting their local children's hospital just because I was willing to make the ask. Josh Duhamel was on my flight here to Salt Lake. My friend loves Josh Duhamel. I had to get Josh Duhamel to tape a video for my friend and she loved it. It was a really cool ask. Katherine Heigl ran into her at the Salt Lake airport. And I know I'm talking fast, but I know I have limited time. And I asked her if she wanted to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And she's like, thank you. I support animals and animal charities, which, okay, I get that. I do. There's so many amazing charities. And then Michael Strahan, I ran into him in New York at JFK and just went up to him. And the universe will surprise you when you ask for what you want. Last year, Katherine Heigl was at our event in Hawaii at the ACE shootout, just hanging out, supporting Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I went up to Michael and said, one of my little cuties is his birthday today. Can you please just do a message? And so he wrote on a sign, happy birthday to my sweet Owen. And that meant the world to Owen's family. So it really can surprise you. Okay, receiving. This is such a huge part of the equation when getting what you want in life. I believe, and I'm sure many of you in this room believe, that life is energy. Are we energetically aligned to receiving? 2 weeks ago, I was in LA, had a women's empowerment event because I love my day job. It's great, but I love speaking. I want to speak all the time. And so my intention was I wanted to be in alignment with a higher vibration frequency, that joy, that happiness. I didn't want to be resonating down here at a lower frequency. I get home on Monday. I have an email from Shelly saying, would you like to be the keynote speaker at our event? That came in because I was energetically aligned to receive. Are you energetically aligned to receive what it is that you want to receive in life? Are we open to receiving? Are we believing that we're going to receive? It's so important to believe that the answer is going to be yes. And if it's a no, it means just not yet. And are you attached to what something looks like? I think it's really important that we can let life surprise us. So last month I was in LA, I was in Beverly Hills for an event and had a sore throat. I was not feeling well. So I called down to the front desk. I need some honey to go with my lemon water. So I really know that somebody's going to show up at my door with honey. Like I made the ask, so I'm going to get honey. This is what happens. So this robot shows up to my door and it has honey in it. See that little computer thing? I lift it up. There's my honey. It's talking to me through the thing, but I never in a million years would have expected a robot to show up to my door. So how could life surprise you with an ask that you want right now? What could it look like that you are just so attached to, you think it's going to look a certain way, and the only way it's going to get fixed or work is if it looks this way? What if it could surprise you? So I challenge you to be open-minded to the surprise. And I'm really sad I don't get to show you this video, but this is Payson. And I actually was with him a couple months ago in a room right down the hall in Salon A. And Payson had cancer and leukemia and had over 3 years of treatment at Primary Children's Hospital. And he sang the song, Don't Give Up by Me. And he's got a cute little voice. And I work with Andy Grammer, who sings that song. So I'm like, oh, Payson, if you could just record a video for Andy, and I'll send you him singing. And my intention and my dream is when Andy's in Salt Lake City, I want him to invite Payson on stage to sing this song. So I send this to Andy and ask if he can do a hospital visit while he's in town, which actually was just like the next week he randomly was in Salt Lake City. So this was just, I think, July or August of this year. And I get a no. They said, no, Kelly, he doesn't have time to visit the children's hospital while he's in town. He's not doing meet and greets at his show, so Peyton's not going to meet him. So I kind of am a little bummed out by that. But I'm not totally not believing that it's not possible, because, I can figure out how to get yes when I get that now. Fast forward, I think it was like later that day, his management calls me up and says, Kelly, you are never going to believe this, but in every city, Andy picks a nomination of someone who saved their life, and he picks a winner. And the girl who won, she has a child that's treated at the palliative care up at Primary Children's Hospital, and she wants to nominate the palliative care team. And so, can you help me set up a hospital visit at Primary Children's Hospital? And Andy's going to come in and perform for them. And of course, I'm going to invite Payson to come and meet Andy. And so when Andy is singing Don't Give Up on Me, he's like, is there anyone in the room that knows this song? Payson raises his hand. He invites him up on stage to sing Don't Give Up on Me. After the song, Andy goes, how would you like to sing on stage with me tonight? And you can go to Andy Grammer's page and watch that. It's so incredible. And for me, it taught me so many lessons. I mean, it was a miracle. I was told no. Go to the show that night. He performs on stage. There's 22 members of the palliative care team. That's like end of life kids that have really bad diagnosis. 22 members are on stage. It was so miraculous, but you have to make the ask for the miracle to happen. So if you don't get anything else, you have to make the ask for the miracle to happen. This is on stage. That was at the at Sophie's Place at Primary Children's Hospital. I mean, look at that rock star moment. He's lifting him up. It was iconic because, like, he's been through it. He's been through cancer. He has a powerful why of don't give up. And so be open to no actually meaning yes. Do you guys actually believe that? No can mean yes. And it's really exciting when that happens. All right. This is one of the most impactful stories that has helped me know and believe that when you ask and you take action from your inspiration, miracles can happen. I met Maverick several years ago in Washington, D.C. We were getting ready to go meet with the president. We took all the kids to meet with the president. We put on a private charter and we go to Walt Disney World. And it was really cool. So Maverick happens to be in my line and we're checking IDs. And he's like, you're born June 11th? I'm born June 11th. You're from Wyoming? I'm from Wyoming. You love the Boston Red Sox? I love the Boston Red Sox. Like, I bonded with this kid immediately. Maverick's had over 40 surgeries, including 5 open heart surgeries. He does not have good health. One day when Maverick wasn't feeling well, I reached out to my buddy Kevin Millar, who played first baseman for the Boston Red Sox when they broke the curse back in 2004, because I'd actually tried a couple months ago to get a video from Big Papi for Maverick, because, I mean, that is his hero. And that day, I was on Instagram and I saw Kevin posted his kids a photo with David Ortiz. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. You got to reach out right now. Ask for a video for Maverick. See if what happens. And so fast forward a couple hours, I get a text from Kevin Millar. It's a video from Big Papi and Kevin. It says, Maverick, we love you. Stay positive. Keep the faith. And I'm going to hit a home run for you tonight. So I'm like, wow. I was freaking out because I got my little favorite kiddo a video from his hero. Could it get any better? No, like, it's done. Like, I'm done. This is done. We're all good. Well, fast forward a couple of hours. It's a beautiful night at Fenway Park, and the Boston Red Sox are playing their biggest rival, the New York Yankees. Big Papi steps up to bat the first time. He strikes out. He steps up to bat the second time. He strikes out. He steps up to bat the third time. He strikes out. I'm in my bedroom at this moment, and I kind of think, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little nervous. He steps up to bat the fourth time. He hits a 2-run game-winning home run for Maverick. And I get down on my knees and I'm like, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. I knew that was a miracle. The next thing I know, I have a video from Maverick in the cutest little 6-year-old voice saying, Big Papi, you never let me down. And I'm going to try my hardest to get to Fenway Park to meet you. Within 2 weeks, I was on a private plane with my little man from Cheyenne, Wyoming, for him to meet his hero and throw out the first pitch. And the moment they embraced was so incredible. We were in the batting cages and Maverick is like this big and Big Papi is huge. And he just looked up at him and said, Big Papi. And he had the home run ball that he'd hit for him in his hand because the fan wanted him to have it. Now, are miracles real? Should Big Papi have hit that home run? No, the odds were against him. Home runs in Major League Baseball aren't easy to hit, but Big Papi acknowledged help from a higher power. And I learned so much from that experience. Like, make the ask, think about others. How can you serve others? How can the miracle come in? How can it be bigger and better than you ever dreamed possible? Miracles are real. They happen when we take action from our inspiration. So I wrote a book about this. 100% of the proceeds benefit Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I love this little guy. Miracles happen when we take action from our inspiration. Lean into your resistance. Make the ask. Believe you will receive. Be open energetically and watch the universe conspire in your favor. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today.
Hey, my friend, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and share your biggest takeaway. And if you're wanting more, you can access hundreds of recent speakers, book summaries, great articles, and more at no additional charge through your membership portal. You can also get involved in a Women Leaders Association mastermind group or a networking group near you. Or if you just need to access your membership portal, simply go to womenleaderspodcast.com to be connected. Because here at Women Leaders Association, we believe we go further, faster, and have more fun when we go together. That's all for today, my friends. Bye for now.